Happy birthday, everybody.
Got it wrong again.
What? Man.
Is it your birthday?
I thought that was like a Christmas thing, like the snowman says it.
Well, unfortunately, not.
Oh, man.
And Snowman's an idiot. That's kind of his thing.
Kind of is. Welcome back, everybody.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. I am your host, Wizzy Puff, joined as always by the lovely Ross Pitt.
Hello. It's me. Good to see you again. Mwah.
Oh.
Mwah, mwah.
You guys are really lucky getting Ross kisses.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
This really is quite a sensual season. Just like
I guess.
Don't you think you don't think this is a nice romantic season?
It can. Yeah. I mean, that's not what I like to focus on, but yes, sure.
I think it's a good aspect of it. It really brings out the loving in most people.
Sorry. For a second there, I thought you were going to say, I think it's a good ass. Something else.
Yeah, it's a good ass part of the season. And speaking of good asses, no, I can't say that.
Don't say that. Do not. Maybe they're adults here. I mean, they're already teenagers, so no, if they're adults, you can go ahead and say that.
Speaking of romance, tonight's fic is really quite a romantic one. I hope. I mean, we haven't read it yet. Peppermint Winter.
Maybe it's super not romantic.
By Meteor Mirage. This is actually just going to be a, like them doing their taxes or something. It's them getting caught up on chores.
That would be the greatest.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Peppermint Winter, that's an interesting name. Wizzy, did you search it up?
I did
or
not. Or
were you just looking for Christmas stories?
I was just looking through the Hearthwarmers group, and they had this in their
wow
winter or I think it's like their wintertime folder, something like that.
Wizzy's gotten more powerful now that he's discovered groups.
It's the best place to find holiday fics.
Really is.
But this would be the at least second fanfic that we've read that is titled after, well, I don't know if this one's really titled after, has the same name as an Owl City song.
Yep. The other one was Vanilla Twilight. God, love me some 2010s emo pretty boy Jesus Christ loving artists. So yeah, this will be fun. Meteor Mirage, you got one shot.
And you guys better go into that description and click that link. Give this story a like. Give this story a read. Read it for yourself before listening to us. Because who knows how it's going to end up when we read it. What if we start doing really clowny voices that ruin the romance?
That's true. It could happen. It has happened.
It has.
In fact, I'm going to do that, I think.
Can we have one male shipping story where they both have, I don't know, normal voices?
You didn't do a normal voice until fucking a moment's worth.
Please, my voices were very normal before that. You think I could not put on a clowny voice for every character before that?
You kind of did.
No, but actually, Straight Colts Don't Kiss was, I thought that one was really good with the voices we did, especially the monotone version that you did for Button Mash.
Completely different for Button. But yeah, I loved that. Maybe I'll do a monotone voice here.
Ooh la la.
I suppose we'll see. Let's get into it, Wizzy. Be a host, goddammit.
Peppermint Winter by Meteor Mirage.
And that's Meteor _Mirage.
It is Meteor _ Mirage. Chapter 1. The only chapter. Unedited.
Legitimately only looked at the unedited part of the chapter title. I've never noticed that.
I think this is like the second or third time we've had a fic that has the only chapter as the title of the chapter.
That's probably true.
The front door to the School of Friendship swung open, releasing a burst of cold air into the toasty, fire-warmed lobby. The flame flickered and threatened to go out, but remained strong as the two entering creatures shut the door behind them. The two intruders did their best to shake off their snow-covered bodies as they huddled together for increased warmth. Gallus, the smaller blue griffin, basically clung to his larger earth pony boyfriend as he shivered intensely, the only wintertime coverings on him being a short, scraggly scarf that he wrapped tightly around his neck.
I'm going to headcanon these two as assassins. That's just a cool image. Two assassins just walking into a room covered in snow.
You know, I would be totally down for that. Gay boyfriend assassins on Christmas.
Hell yes.
Sorry, hearthwarming.
Oh my god, I want to write that now.
Sandbar, dressed more appropriately with a thick floor-length scarf and dark gray beanie, wrapped a hoof around his boyfriend to draw him closer. As uncomfortable with public affection as he was, public boundaries all over again.
I had read a bit farther. I had seen the word public. And I was like, I wonder if Wizzy's going to mention that.
It's literally the same issue. He understood he had to make some adjustments to comfort his freezing carburb. The two had just gotten back from a fairly nice breakfast, and despite the hot and lovingly prepared meal they had just eaten, its warmth was absolutely snuffed out by the record cold they were still recovering from. Still with a frosty bird clinging to him, Sandbar gestured to the large fireplace off to the side of the lobby.
Yeah, let's go warm up a bit.
What was that? Was that English?
I am speaking English. It's just a French accent.
He said softly, nuzzling Gallus for continued warm sharing. In response, Gallus rolled his eyes. We'd still be warm if we didn't go out for breakfast. He grumbled gently, blaming Sandbar for the weather he had obviously caused. Even still, he didn't complain as they walked in tandem towards the warmth. The fireplace was already well populated. A group of 4 ponies were already seated on the provided couch, leaving the remaining few gathered around to curl up on the ground, either solo or with a loved one to snuggle with. Even with the small group crowded around the fireplace, Sandbar managed to find a smallish spot a little away from the fire, though it was small enough that the 2 boys would have to huddle together if they both wanted to stay warm. As they both settled down to sit, both realized that neither really minded the closeness. Both boys sighed lovingly as they leaned against each other and embraced the warmth. Sandbar leaned down to nuzzle Gallus's head feathers, to which the griffin just grinned and wiggled deeper into his boyfriend's embrace.
Better?
Sandbar asked simply as he wrapped his hoof tighter around his cold bird. Much better, Gallus said as he immediately went to work and warming up his claws, which were doing their best to not cramp up from the cold. As the two continued to settle, both found that every time the front door opened to let anyone in, for even the smallest moment, the flickering fire bred seeds of chill among all the creatures just trying to stay warm. The unicorns in the crowd quickly got to work trying to maintain the fire, but it was of little help. Gallus was the first to feel the effects of the cold, curling to maintain warmth as he scratched his claw under his tiny, itchy little scarf. Sandbar, both sturdier and gifted with more heat retention due to excessive fluff and coverage, could feel it as well, but certainly not as much as the griffin who was yet again shivering against him. He looked down at Gallus, slightly concerned, then nuzzled yet again.
Still cold,
he asked. Gallus nodded in response as he wiggled closer to Sandbar, grumbling as he did so. Saying nothing, he instead ripped the scarf he was wearing from his neck and attempted to place it on in a more warming way. Rip seemed to be more literal than he wanted, as the old garment tore as he did so, joining multiple other small blemishes in the material. This one, however, built off of a few former tears to form a much larger one that stretched a quarter of the way down. It threatened to turn the one thin scarf into 2 very thin scarves, were he to fiddle with it any further. So he just frustratedly, though also gingerly, returned it from whence it came, Oh boy, this is going to be the rest of the fic is just describing the intricacies of his outfit.
Oh, God.
Seeing this, Sandbar shot an even more concerned look as he thought deeply for a moment. With a very uncharacteristic frown, he nuzzled Gallus one last time and smooched his forehead tenderly.
Aww. Hey, I know this sucks, but I need to run back to the room to grab something.
With an overly dramatic sigh and a lot of grumbling, Gallus gently wrapped his arms around his boyfriend's neck. "No, stay with me," he whined. "I'll be cold if you go." As he continued to complain, he tried his hardest to prevent his boyfriend from absconding with his cherished horsey warmth. As his frown gave way to a small, loving smirk, Sandbar gave a very dramatic sigh as he pulled away from Gallus briefly. It wasn't hard to break the hold he held, as, while he wasn't trying very hard to hold him down in the first place, the griffin couldn't do much against true earth pony strength. Now slightly separated from Gallus, though not far enough to stop radiating warmth to him, Sandbar began to quickly unwrap his more substantial scarf from around his neck. Before Gallus could even think to respond, he was interrupted by his boyfriend using this newly freed garment to dress him instead. Gallus couldn't exactly complain, as he was warmed immediately by this scarf's presence, sighing happily as the soft, thick fabric greeted his neck around his own itchy and uncomfortable scarf. Now that his boyfriend was distracted, Sandbar was perfectly happy to stand up from his spot, but, of course, not before pressing his lips against the griffin's forehead and ruffling his head feathers.
Okay, so first off, this is very adorable. Second, it's very nice to read a romance story where the romance is already established, front and center, and they're being very cute the entire way through.
It's not like, oh, they're in the middle of a fight, or, oh, they don't even know that they're both into each other yet.
Yep. It's so refreshing. So props to you, Mango something or whatever. I can't remember your name. It's all the way up there. I can't go back up there.
I think their name was Spooky Jonas?
That's the one. The L.
Sandbar said, with a sly grin as he looked down at Gallus.
That's hopefully enough for until I get back. Although...
He gave a small pause, tapping a hoof against his chin until he gave an even bigger grin.
Ha! I've got it,
he said, and, with a bit of a flourish, he removed his beanie and plopped it onto Gallus's head.
Yeah, that should keep you nice and warm for a little while longer. You look super cute too.
Leaning down, Sandbar placed a loving kiss onto Gallus's beak.
I'll be quick, so don't go anywhere. I love my jelly.
Gallus grumbled in response.
Oh yeah, this is not the ship that ends up canon, by the way. This ship, I believe, would be Sandbar and Yona?
Has to be straight.
I think Sandbar and Yona. She's a yak. I gotta say, I do actually like this one more.
Can't be this cute with Yona.
That's just because I like Gallus.
Gallus grumbled in response, smiling widely as he couldn't resist pressing back against Sandbar's lips slightly. Sandbar hesitated slightly before making his leave, but still rushed off as swiftly as possible afterwards, as fast as his horsey legs could carry him. Now alone in the group of ponies around him, Gallus sighed and laid his head down for a minute. As much as he wanted to whine about Sandbar leaving him, he couldn't manage much of a complaint as his chin rested against the soft, plush scarf he now had wrapped around him, and he gave a soft, loving smirk as he gently smelled the fabric, and then gave a second, more investigatory sniff. Unsurprisingly, it gave off a very familiar scent. To be more specific, it was a very hearth-warming themed mixture of peppermint-scented body wash and just a light dusting of pine cologne. It was a softer version of the very loud fragrance that his and Sandbar's shared bathroom was coated in after one of his boyfriend's daily 30-minute showers.
My man.
Not that Gallus minded one bit. With more than a slight curiosity, he removed the beanie he was rented as well, not caring how strange he looked as he tested the smell of that as well. green apple, just like Sandbar's mane and tail shampoo, and the mane that he'd spent every night for the past year with his beak buried into. The combination of warmth and a lovingly familiar combination of scents forced Gallus into a soft yawn as he stretched out along the hard floor. Still more used to sleeping on floors than beds, he gave a small shrug and settled his head down, yet again onto the scarf. If Sandbar was going to be long, he figured he might as well take a short nap to wait for whatever that pony had planned. He held the beanie close to his chest, involuntarily letting out a soft and sweet trill. Gallus shut his eyes to let the comforting sensations consume him. Even the light, hushed chattering from the ponies around him, especially the group cuddling on the couch, wasn't enough to deter him. What was enough, however, was seemingly moments later when Gallus was jostled awake by a returning Sandbar. Raising his head, Gallus gave a few tired and unintelligible grumbles as he gave his boyfriend a bleary glare.
Let's hear those tired, unintelligible grumbles as you give your boyfriend a bleary glare.
I want to go to bed.
Perfect.
Sandbar offered up an awkward grin as he sidled up against Gallus yet again, chuckling softly as he remembered how cranky he could get after being awoken from even the shortest of naps.
Oops, Sally. I was trying not to wake you,
he said as he nuzzled up against Gallus's cheek. Despite the rude awakening, Gallus found himself yet again smiling due to his boyfriend's antics, though rolling his eyes as he let out a small sigh. I barely closed my eyes, he croaked. He's dead. The end.
Rest in peace. And that was...
He croaked, then cleared his throat with a blush.
It was like 20 minutes, dude.
Sandbar chuckled, maybe a bit louder than he intended as he garnered the attention of some of the ponies surrounding the two.
I know because it took me a while to grab what I needed.
It was then that Gallus noticed that the scenery around him had changed a little bit. A few ponies that were there seemingly moments ago had left, and finally the couch had been freed by the group of ponies, though it left the Griffin to wonder why no one had replaced them. After noticing that, he noticed the more peculiar sight of Sandbar's hoof hovering above the floor by a few inches. It took him a few more seconds to spot the box that he was very poorly hiding at his side.
In order to pad this episode out, let's all remember, these two are assassins.
Oh no.
They just killed some pony. So let's all just think about that, okay?
What's in the box? What's in the box, Sandbar? With a raised eyebrow, Gallus leaned over. Hey, what you got there? He asked as he swiped to grab for it. Sandbar chuckled warmly as he pulled it away, hiding it closer to his side and pulling away to protect it.
Not yet. Can I at least get my stuff back? I'm freezing here.
As a display, he very dramatically began to rub his hooves together and blow against them, using the last of the warmth in him to soothe their ache. Feeling that, despite the absolute lack of dressage, Sandbar was still radiating more warmth than him. Gallus rolled his eyes. Heh, good luck with that. He placed a claw against the scarf around his neck. You should have known what you gave it to me. If it smells like you, there's no way I'm giving it back.
Theft.
Sandbar sighed and leaned against Gallus, leaving his box unguarded as he wrapped a hoof around him.
Yeah, I'm surprised my socks and hoodies survived for this long.
Well, I mean... Gallus started, but left the sentence alone as he bared his talons and gave his free wing a gentle flap. In response, Sandbar nudged his boyfriend's hindpaw with his own hind leg.
Oh, come on. You'd look cute.
He grinned lovingly as he looked down at the blue griffin. With a large blush, Gallus gave a soft huff and refused to respond to that comment. Seeing an opening, Sandbar reached to his side with a hoof.
Holy shit, I'm just realizing we haven't read a Gilda fic.
Well, Gilda was in,
Might have to change that at some point.
Gilda was in, Discord Teaches Philosophy, right?
No.
Really?
Why would she be there?
Which one was she in?
None of them, I don't think.
I've definitely heard of her. Was she the one, like, does she know Sandbar and the others?
She knows Gallus.
Okay.
That's just because they're both griffins.
There was one time, I definitely know Gilda's name, so pretty sure that she was in a fic we read.
I mean, I probably talked about her to you before.
Maybe, but I some reason I'm pretty sure, like, I'd voiced her, maybe.
I can't think of a fic she might have been in. Like, unless she was one of the characters in 6 characters.
Nah.
In either of the 6 characters, but I don't think she was. She wouldn't make for that interesting a dynamic.
I could be wrong.
Anyway, it's going to be a little awkward if you don't disrobe, cause...
He paused to pull the box from his side, offering it over to Gallus with a massive grin.
I got something for you.
What Sandbar offered over was a box much taller than it was wide, wrapped poorly enough in vaguely holiday-themed wrapping paper that Gallus could clearly see the plain cardboard box inside. Obviously, he had wrapped it himself. Gallus started, but was more confused than anything. It was close to Hearthswarming, but he had always assumed that ponies only gave gifts on that specific day, like the Blue Moon Festival. He looked up to Sandbar with a questioning glance, silently asking if Sandbar was sure. Sandbar gestured towards Gallus with a huff, eagerly grinning.
Come on, open it.
While there was a little bit more hesitation, Gallus managed to put aside the strangeness of this and absolutely tear into the packaging. The cardboard box wasn't taped in the slightest, so Gallus had no problem opening it up and fishing out what lay within. The first thing he noticed was how soft this gift was, making even the posh scarf he was renting from Sandbar feel like sandpaper in comparison. Immediately intrigued, Gallus rushed a bit to see what it was. What he pulled out was a scarf. A bright red scarf that was absurdly long, reminding Gallus of the one timekeeper he saw running about Ponyville from time to time. Is that a reference to the Doctor Hooves?
I believe so, yes.
Yay!
Yeah, that would be 4th Doctor reference, specifically. Yeah, Doctor Who's does have a scarf that references that, so yeah.
Always like our guy Time Turner.
Well, it's just Doctor, actually, but... Anyways.
And warmed his claws pleasantly as he held it.
It's enchanted.
Sandbar explained as he saw his boyfriend's face shift to further confusion.
Reality did me a solid and cut the cost for it, but it was still pretty, a lot.
He sighed and, being reminded by the absurd emptiness in his bag of bits, laid his head on the floor for a moment. Then he popped back up, his dramatics over, and nudged Gallus.
So come on, try it on. Fucking try it out, God. So worse as you. Pathetic.
Gallus didn't need to be told twice. As nice as Sandbar's scarf was, he delicately removed it and tossed it onto its owner without much of a care. He was much less careful with the scarf that lay under it, tearing it off his neck quite literally as he rushed to remove it. He wasn't concerned by that in the slightest. Upon donning the lovely gift, Gallus grumbled with absolute delight as he was finally blessed with a comfortable amount of warmth, even with his warm boyfriend leaning up against him. Dear Grover, this is amazing. I love it. I love you. He hesitated on the last word, most of the sentence forcing itself out in his excitement and leaving him to finish the job for the first time.
Hey, that's...
Sandbar began, but trailed off moments later. The sentiment was clear between the two of them, however, as Gallus leaned up to brush his beak against Sandbar's cheek, a blush very clear on his own.
I love you too, Gally.
That's what I always say when I'm playing Age of Empires. Sandbar said...
Yeah, that's what that means, I'm pretty sure.
Sandbar said as he returned the favor in kind, pressing his lips against his birdie boyfriend's beak, BBB, and pulling him closer with a hoof around him.
Happy out swimming.
Gallus started before shaking his head, correcting himself with a small grin to his boyfriend. Happy hearth-warming, Sandy. As they yet again rested, enjoying the warmth of the fire before them in the quiet company of the loved one beside them, Gallus felt another nap coming on.
I feel another nap coming on.
The end. That was Peppermint Winter by Meteor Mirage.
Okay, so the Mary Blue thing,
Is that the Blue Moon Festival they referenced earlier?
I can't remember. There is a griffin thing in the show. I can't remember what it's called, but griffins have a different holiday where they just get around and yell at each other. And so that was a reason that Gallus, in the show, Gallus had sabotaged the kids, and so that they didn't go to their homes for hearthwarming, because he didn't want to go back, and all of his friends were there, and it's complicated. Anyways, kind of an asshole move, but
I'm assuming that's the Blue Moon Festival that they referenced earlier.
I did not remember that
Okay.
getting referenced. So yeah, that's what I was thinking that was, but I wouldn't know. I had to remember what it said about the Blue Moon Festival.
Once in a blue moon.
If anything is anything anymore. Either way, there's just some fun, there's a fun fact for you. There you go. Nice little...
Really goes to show Gallus's character. Selfish.
Yeah, I do really like Gallus. Gallus is my favorite of the Student 6, maybe.
Nice.
Oh god, I really love Silverstream too. God, I want to read a Silverstream fic. Yeah, Gallus is my favorite of the Student 6 because he is very different from what you initially assume.
Gay.
Even though he is kind of what you initially assume. He becomes the Twilight Sparkle of the Student 6, despite the fact that he initially seems more like the Rainbow Dash. Although that's just another thing about the Student 6 that I really love, is that they're not one-to-ones with the original main 6, which is very nice.
Yeah, the Student 6. How do they introduce the Student 6? Is this just people who signed up to be students of Twilight?
In season whatever, right after the whatever was built, or the movie, right after the movie, season 8, Twilight opened a school. It's the School of Friendship, where ponies can be taught friendship, the most powerful substance of all. So that's pretty important, actually, I would say.
Man, I think that Gallus and Sandbar may have taken that a bit too far. More than friendship.
Well, in the show, you could say that about Sandbar and Yona.
No, it's actually canon.
Yep.
You've upgraded to friendship with benefits. That's great, guys.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? I don't know.
You're talking about Twilight opening this school and how they joined it.
Yes. So that's what happened.
Oh, okay.
She opened a school, and they're all pretty much, except for Sandbar, they're all transfer students and such.
Okay, so Sandbar is from Ponyville then.
I think so. Yona's from Yakakistan. Gallus is from Griffinstone. Ocellus is from the Changeling Empire. Silverstream is Hippogriff from Hippogrifflandia.
And those places are outside of even Equestria?
I think the Changeling Empire would be inside of Equestria, but I think so, yeah. Most of them would be outside of Equestria.
Okay.
Did I mention that Yona was from Yakakistan?
Yeah.
Trying to remember which one I forgot.
Where's Silverstream from?
Silverstream is from I can't remember what it's called. Hippogriff place with the hippogriffs. Sea Pony Land. She's impressed by stairs. Yeah, no, I can't remember.
Okay.
Well, now this is going to kill me. Give me 1 second.
Oh, boy.
MLP. Student X. Oh, yeah, Gallus becomes a guard in the future.
For Gallus. Like a guard of the Griffins, or takes over the place of...
Royal Guard for Twilight.
Dang!
Oh, yeah, Smolder. Smolder is from the Dragon Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Can't believe I forgot about her. Oh, my God. Silverstream is literally the only one I can't click. Okay, fine. Fuck me. God doesn't want me to remember.
Silver Stream is underrated.
Ain't that the truth?
Splashdown in the Silver Stream.
So the story was nice and cute and stuff.
Yeah, the
That's
story.
all.
I think the story was, I think this was like one of the really cutest romance fics that we've read in a while.
In terms of romance, yes. But what's the competition here? And what is in a while?
And what's the last romance fic we read?
What's the last cutest?
Oh, wait, no, actually, that last...
The last one was yesterday.
That one was really good. But there's just something I really like about the MM shipping with their, like, dude bro type love that they have. It's really cute.
Yeah, that's nice. I think that it's just kind of a thing where it just, all right, let's do this and then move on with our lives. It's just a snapshot of their life, you know? Nothing that big happens in it.
Yeah. It's a slice of life.
It does have that tag, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They don't particularly have a very interesting conversation. The only interesting thing about it really is that they are coming back from an assassination.
That part was
that was pretty interesting, I suppose.
Like, that didn't really have much to do with the story. It was just kind of the context, you know? Don't get that much in these fics.
Yeah. It's just some nice world building, you know?
Yeah. It's to actually exists in the author's other universe where there are more side characters as... that'd actually be insane. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. That would be the most fanfiction thing ever. All right. Great stuff. Great shit. With emphasis on the shit.
Thank you for your story, Meteor Mirage.
If that is your real name.
That is their legal name, Meteor_Mirage. I hope everyone listening enjoyed
Full Christian name.
I hope everyone listening enjoyed this story as much as we did. Enjoy the rest of your month, everybody. It's a wonderful holiday season. I'll be signing off for now.
I guess this is gonna be the last Thursday before Christmas, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. That's scary. There's not enough time for all these beautiful fics.
Yeah. Well, guess that's it. No more Christmas.
The Grinch took it. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Oh, oh, oh. So who would be the top in our relationship?
Please. As if that's even a question.